Hello, everyone. A very good afternoon. I would like to thank you all for joining us today. My name is Aparna Haldar, and I'll be hosting this webinar. Before we get started, please let me take a few minutes to introduce Payatu. Payatu is a research powered cybersecurity consulting firm. We have a decade long track record with a singular focus on cybersecurity. Foundation of Payatu rests upon three pillars: community and conferences, consulting and training, products. Community and conferences encompasses NullCon, an international security conference, training, and exhibition platform. Hardware.io, a hardware security focused conference along with other initiatives. Consulting and training focuses on thorough security assessments, which helps businesses to discover security threats and further provide training to strengthen network infrastructure. Lastly, we have two products in private beta trials, that is Exploity, a firmware analysis framework, and CloudFuzz, an advanced buzzing framework. Here is an overview of the various consulting assessments we are known for across the globe. Payatu has delivered many cyber talks and workshops in top security conferences that also include Black Hat and DEF. We take pride in the decade-long impact we have created by contributing to the cybersecurity community all around the world. That was all about Payatu. Today, Kapil, a security consultant at Payatu, will deliver a webinar on hacking iOS applications. You can read all about him on this slide. Before I hand it over to Kapil, I request you to follow a few housekeeping tips. Please be on mute. If you have a question, you can write it in the chat box. We'll answer the questions during the intervals or at the end of the webinar. We will be releasing the recording of this webinar on our LinkedIn page. So make sure you are following Payatu. If you are not following the page, check the link in the chat box. You will be directed towards Payatu's LinkedIn page. Without further ado, let's get started. Kapil, over to you.
Thanks, Aparna. Let me share my screen. Hacking and securing iOS applications for beginners. Thanks for joining here. A great thanks for the introduction. And first of all, thank you for the joining here webinar on the pen testing iOS apps with a special focus on runtime analysis and manipulation. If you have any queries, I'll be glad to answer them at end of the presentation. And before we'll start, I have a few slides, a few words about me on the next slide. Okay. Hello everyone. A little bit about me. I'm Kapil Gurav. I work with Payatu Labs as a security consultant. I have expertise in web application, mobile, API, hardware, and many more things I'm going to add. I'm also part-time bug bounty hunter and MVP member of Bugcrowd, also acknowledged by Apple, Comcast, HSBC Bank, and many more. Personally, I'm a huge fan of iOS. I spend most of the time in iOS security and research. Find me on Twitter. Username is Hackersden. I'm currently working on especially iOS security research at Payatu. So my main focus of research is based on the security and privacy of mobile applications. So, for example, we are currently researching the new techniques on reverse engineering and runtime manipulation that helps us conduct the empirical studies on the security and privacy landscape of mobile applications. Pen testing iOS applications. So we'll digress today have a few pointers which we will cover in our today's presentation. Why mobile security, Objective-C runtime script, methodology and techniques which we use in runtime and reversing, disassembling and decoupling the IPA, tools used to break the stuff, also reverse engineering, and the most favorite topic is the runtime manipulation, and last one is the bug bounty notes. Okay, so many guys of you asked me a question by mobile security. So having a mobile phone has become a large part of our everyday life. So many underestimate the value of phone truly holds when it's come to the information is stored. So your phone has the entire life on it. So your phone is a portable storage, you can say, portable storage device that holds as much as data it can able to hold. So your device also mobile bank applications, a social networking hub, you can say. There are many functions to use a mobile device that makes us realize how important and truly it is to be protected from the information which is stored into that. So not only does mobile security affect your everyday life, personal life also, but it can affect the productivity or success of your business. Be sure to not underestimate the any skills of the hacker. Hackers can easily manipulate or steal information from your phone. Hacking might not always mean simply stealing username, password, and sending phishing emails. It can be listening on conversation or hack into any field on your phone. Also, we'll look over the understanding of security threats. So most of us, our lives are stored within our mobile devices, social media accounts, bank accounts, memorable photos, private text messages, many more at risk of being accessed without your permission. So fortunately, there are preventive actions for this very threat. So people can easily access that information on your tablet, on your phone, or laptop. If you do not take the necessary precautions, prevent your information from being leaked or at risk. Precautions such as keeping a password on your phone, a normal precaution that you know. Hackers are like very experienced when it comes up like hacking mobile devices or any electronic device. You should educate yourself on the ways you can drive or the device you can come under attack from the hacker, since they know more about the security threats in like a mobile phone or that user. So yeah. Here we will see Objective-C runtime with Swift. First, our topic is provide a set of extension to the C programming language, and second, we'll add addition to most of the based on Smugdog. So Objective-C is a Swift Objective-C and Swift. You can look up the basic procedure like intercepting network communication and decrypting apps from the app store. So on it, like a publication from the past few years, we are trying to go in one step further and focus on manipulation, runtime manipulation, and reverse engineering and analysis. So runtime, so we'll focus here only on runtime level. So let's start with a quick introduction to the Objective-C. Objective-C and runtime. So before we have a closer look at the runtime, so let's talk on the Objective-C for a moment. Objective-C was developed in like 1980. It was a main language used for the next step operating system, which is the OS 10, and iOS have derived it. Therefore, all iOS have written in the Objective-C. Nowadays, few developers or few companies using Swift. Objective-C provides a set of extension that C programming language, which are mainly an object-oriented language or design, you can say. So we'll have a closer look at the in second. So with the dynamic typing and the reflection also there, a reflection of ability is other, which is the ability of program and modify its own behavior in runtime. So so you might notice from in a Java sometime like for example the reflection ability they're also available in the Objective-C runtime. So all these concepts make Objective-C quit at a directive from a hacking perspective. And this is what we are going to look at now. So basically, you can say Objective-C is a runtime-oriented language. And now the question arises is, what is the runtime language? A runtime language is a language that decides what to implement in the function and other decision during the runtime of the application. So is Objective-C the runtime language? No, because it's a runtime-oriented language, which means that whenever it's possible, it differs decision from the compiler and link time to the time to time when in the code of the application when it's being executed in background. So here Cocoa provides the runtime environment for the iOS application in background. So along with that, we'll attach a reverse engineering is a mixed bag, you can say. On one hand, apps programmed in Objective-C and Swift can be disassembled nicely. In Objective-C, object methods are called via dynamic functions and pointers called as a sectors, you can say, which are resolved by the name during a runtime. So advantage of runtime name, resolution is that the names need to be stay interact with the final binary, making the disassemble more readable, you can say. Or you'll get that visibility once you load the binary into the compiler, you can say Cooper or IDA. Unfortunately, this also means to that no direct cross reference between methods are available in the disassembler or construction program. So on that time, it's too challenging, you can say. So we'll jump on next slide. So yeah, so main thing is methodology and techniques. So yeah, we'll jump smoothly in today's topic. So you get that and marinate the. So metaphorically speaking, we can regards iOS reverse engineering as a spear, which can break the seemingly safe protection of applications. So it can be interesting and ridiculous to know that many companies that developers are like not aware of the existing of this spear, and their apps are unbreakable. They think similar like that. For me, apps like WeChat, WhatsApp, and the sense. So the core of the this kind of the applications are they exchange the information for software of bank applications, payment related applications, e-commerce, and core of the monetary transaction data and customer information. So you can say like something like that. So all these core data have to be securely protected. So developers have to protect their apps by combining anti-debugging and data encryption and code execution together. So aim is to increase the difficulty to reverse engineering and prevent the similar security issues from the affecting user experience nowadays from developers. But that also user can attack and can bypass easily. So Objective C interface, all Objective C interfaces are like all properties, all exported functions, all global variables, even all logics are exposed in front of us, which means all protection have become useless. So if we are in this dimension, so there are no walls in there are no walls, you can say. So what should we focus on here? So how we can find out target inside a huge castle. So the metaphor points are here is only my personal viewpoint. However, it's vividly illustrate how powerful iOS reverse engineering is. It's a nutshell. There are two major functions in iOS reverse engineering, as you see on the screen. The first one, analyze the target app and get the core information. This can be conducted as a security regarding reverse engineering. And second one is learn from the app's features and then make use of them in our own apps. And this can be included or concluded as a development related reverse engineering. So next one is the tools used to break a stuff. So first one is SSH. SSH is a tool for secure system administration for file transfer and other communication across the internet or other untrusted networks. You can say it's encrypt identity, password, and transmit data, so they cannot drop to and stolen, and we are secured over there. So second one is the FRIDA and objection. FRIDA and objection is a dynamic information instrumentation tool for developers, reverse engineers, and security researchers. For the objection is a runtime mobile exploration toolkit, and it's powered by FRIDA. But that build helps you to access the security posture of your mobile applications without needing a jailbreak. So next is the LLDB, which is essentially GDB, but for Apple products, you can say. I will assume you have used it before and debug binary on your phone, so that will more understandable and easy for you. OTool is a you can say utility. OTool is used to obtain the information of application and binary. That is what inside. In short, I will say. Last one is Vidra Hooper IDEA. Yeah. I use most of the time Hooper. So Hooper disassembler, the reverse engineering tool that lets you disassemble, decompile, and debug your application. Same for the Git and IDEA. Okay. Next slide is like disassemble and decompiling the IPA. Okay. So first one, dump the IPA. To dump an IPA, we will use open source tool known as the Frida iOS dump, which can be found on GitHub. And Frida iOS dump tool is used to pull decrypt IPA from any app which is installed on your jailbroken phone. So this still requires Frida, which needs to be installed on your device and as well your system. So second one is the disassembling with Hooper. After approaching the IPA from tools, we have to use disassembler to sort out of the code. And disassembler take binaries as the input and output assembly code, and they show you output as the assembly code. IDE and Hooper are major disassemblers in iOS device engineering. So I use most of the time Hooper. Third one is the application binary. The iOS platform provide many built-in libraries. So for frequently using like functionalities in application, for example, cryptography, Bluetooth, NFC, network, location libraries, determine that presence of these libraries in application. So that can gives us a valuable information about the underlying workings. Last one is the fourth one is the review and disassemble Objective-C and Swift code. So here we need to exploring iOS application binary code manually and perform static analysis on it. Manual analysis can be a slow process and require immense patience. Good manual analysis can make it make the dynamic analysis more successful, as I experience it in a lot of projects. So there are no hard written rules for performing static analysis, but there are few rules for thumb which can be used to have a symmetric approach for manual analysis. So exploring the various string present in the application binary, this can be very helpful for you. For example, in spotting interesting functionalities and possible error handling logic in the application. So look for the functions, classes having names related to that, and it's an you can say objective for your testing purpose. So lastly, find the various entry points to the application and find along from the explore the application thread. For next slide, I have a few screenshots for you. So here we will decrypt the IPA and dump using the Frida iOS dump. So yeah, so I dumped the camera application which is using in iPhone. So I wanted to reverse engineer and some work on the I wanted to, you can say, reverse the binary and check how application is working. And so I'll dump the IPA file. After that, I'll extract this. After extracting, you'll get the folder like a payload camera, that is the package name. After that, you'll get all the images, frameworks, library, your binaries there. After loading the binary in Hooper disassembler, you'll get view something like this. So that is what assembly code is, and that is what methods and string used in application. If you want to find out string, then you can go at the string pointer, and yeah, you can find out any string there. Okay, next slide. Static and dynamic analysis. Automated static analysis, first point. So several automated tools like analyzing iOS apps are available in open source. Most of them are commercial tools. So you can say mobile is there, objection is there, and those are the static and dynamic analysis functionality we use to test the static and dynamic analysis functionality. So don't shy away from the using automated scanners for your analysis. They help you in pick low-hanging fruits and allow you to focus on the more interesting aspect of analysis, such as the business logic. Keep in mind that static analyzers may produce false positive and false negative. So always review the finding carefully, because you never know something is going to go with you. For dynamic analysis, this is our second point. So life isn't easy with an jailbroken device. So not only do you gain easy privileged access for the device, the lack of source code signing allows to you more powerful dynamic analysis techniques. So on iOS, most dynamic analysis tools are based on the CDS substrate. So everyone knows that the framework for developing runtime patches or Frida or dynamic introspection tools are there. For basic API monitoring tools are there. So you can get away with not knowing all the details how like a CDR substrate works. So you can simply use existing you can simply use CD as substrate and install the tools. Third one is the uh, application dynamic analysis on non-jailbroken device. So some of people or don't know, I don't know about that, but that is possible. We can perform dynamic analysis on non-jailbroken devices. So we'll use for that objection. Objection is a mobile runtime exploration toolkit based on the FRIDA. So one of the biggest advantage about objection is that enable testing with non-jailbroken device. It does this by automating the process of app repacking with the there's a one library which is a frida gadget.dlibrary. So that library helps us a detailed explanation of the repacking and designing process. I'm not going to explain here. You can go on Google and search. So we won't cover objection in detail in this webinar. Okay. Yeah. Runtime manipulation. So what is runtime manipulation? We have three questions in our mind when we say runtime manipulation. What is runtime manipulation? What we can do with runtime manipulation, and how to perform runtime manipulation. So what is runtime manipulation? So first we need to understand a bit about C language, as I earlier mentioned. Objective C and many modern languages is you can say reflective languages. It can observe and modify its own behavior at runtime. So the reflection allows programming instruction that can be treated like data and allow to programmers or program to make modifications to itself. So that's what we call runtime modification or runtime manipulation. In Objective-C, runtime allows a program not only to create the ad hoc methods or create ad hoc classes or methods, you can say, uh, but uh, what we can do with runtime manipulation is third question. Second question. You can bypass login methods. You can bypass SSL pending bypass, root detection bypass, face ID bypass, touch ID bypass some premium features which is a developed in application and application using. So for that, you can use runtime manipulation and many more stuff are there. Depends upon your ability to view in application what you want, what you need to bypass or what you need to skip uh, for your testing. So how to perform and what how to perform? It's a valid question. How to perform runtime manipulation? That's a valid question. So we'll check in our next two slides how to perform. Okay, reviewing disassemble Objective-C and Swift code. First one is string classes method tracing. So you can trace any class or methods using the FIDA trace or objection, and Hooper and many more tools are there. So having the name of the class and methods are an instance variable is a great way to start reverse engineering. I can say, but we are still missing the core of the application and it's business logic. So we need to understand what is happening inside of the method. So for that, you need to disassemble the your binary and load into the Hooper or Ghidra or IDE. And after that, you need to review that. For practical runtime manipulation with FRIDA and debugging and LTP final exploitation. So we'll take a we'll look a demonstration over the next slide. Okay, this is our first practical of runtime manipulation with FRIDA. So yeah, before start the video, we'll look at the runtime manipulation section of Diva version 2. I'm showing here for demo application or vulnerable application because of it's it's a more uh, it's a more helpful to you to understand what's exactly going in background or what exactly we will do in runtime manipulation. So there are many applications we bypass that type of functionalities and bypass the we bypass some features through runtime manipulation, but I can't show it. So yeah, in practical, if we enter any value in our login method one, So that is a functionality. I'll tell you first. That is a login functionality where you can put your username, password, and after that we can log in. But you need to bypass that. So if we enter any values in login box and press on the login method button, we will see a prompt saying ops incorrect username or password. So we can start to see the methods using by the application in this functionality, or methods or class, you can say, using by the application in this functionality. So here with the running this, go into the runtime manipulation page after like this command. So what we did, yeah, we hook the debug tool with Frida trace, and we are asking to Frida trace what exactly method is loaded or call when we tap on login method one. So Frida trace will tell us this method or this functionality will call once you tap on login method one, login method two. You can use that for any functionality in your application. So here two functions are disappear. Yes. So this gives us a good place to start reversing in the function of function with Cooper or IDA. So whatever we do in the more dynamic methods to save ourselves time and practice in many methods. So what we'll do, we'll hook the application with objection and check exact the class and methods specific related to that functionality. Now, then let's search for the class that could be related. So we know the Swift functions names as let's search for the sometime something included in this like login. If you are checking for login method login functionalities, you can check class or methods like login success, something like that, similar to that. So we check here login. So we are searching for the classes which is related to login. So we got here total 52 classes. So depends upon that, like we need to find out exact class of the login method. So after validating some like functionality and some reversing, so I got the class which is a login validate. So what we are going to do right now, yeah. So we are watching this class. You can say we are uh, tracking this class for a specific functionality which is related to login, right? So yeah. So you can say uh, we can see that there are two methods within the class. Yeah. Once we click on the login method one, this method, this class, and this method is called. So that means that class or method related to that functionality which we need to bypass. So now we know the when login method one is pressed, the method login validated from the class login validated is called. So let's watch the method and see what value is being returned in background. So what we are going to do now, we are checking the what exactly value passing this class and methods in background. So you will get on screen what exactly values they are passing in background, and we can manipulate this value using Frida. This is our class and this is method. Dump return means return the value which is related to the functionality, whatever is going there. So yes, once we click on login method one, the value in background or return value, you can say 0x0. 0x0 is always false, so we need to make it true. So we'll change that value. Yes. So when we are failing the login, the value of this method is 0, right? So let's hook and see the return value is 1. We'll put the return value is 1. Curiously, when I try to change it to, yeah, I'll just tell you in after a few minutes. So we need to check, we need to manipulate the return value. So we are going to set the return value, which is a 0, but we'll put a 1. Right. So what we did here, well, yeah, what we did here. So sometime you can pass a value as a 0x1. So I'm trying to pass that, but I don't know why it didn't work. After debugging that, I'm still confused why it's not going to taking a value of that 0x1. But I once I put a true, that is going to bypass the logging screen because the value is false here. We are changing in runtime as a true. So once I click on login method one, it will say you are successful login. And override value, you can check also the we override the value here 0x0 to 0x1 thing. Yeah. Yeah, you can see here we are overriding the value with 0x1 and original value is 0x0. So this is simple and normal runtime manipulation demo. So after that, we'll jump in the reversing and LLDB, which where I change some functionalities and try to find out or try to bypass the same feature using the different methodology. Yeah, we'll jump into that. Okay, so I already explained you what is the LLDB. So it's a debugger. So first, what I'll do, SSH into the phone and launch the debug server. You can download or install the debug server using the CDR. So I'll explain you through video what exactly happening here. for here, you need to check your system IP address. You will get your Mac IP address or system IP address using the ifconfig, and find the one that is the like same when you are performing this, you need to be in a same network, which is your mobile or system need to be same network. So if your phone or like creating ad hoc network, if you are unsure, then you are like you don't need to be to that. So this will wait for Diva version 2 to run. So make sure it's closed before running the above command or the next command. After it's running, open the Diva version 2 application. It should like pause on otherwise loading the screen. So then open the like next terminal of yours, and you can uh, open or run the LLDB in your system. So once you run the LLDB, yeah, once you're in the LLDB console, that is a command process connect. That is the IP address uh, of your device, and that is the port. So placing your iPhone IP address and make it the placeholder, which gives like a second to run. And once you run that, your application will hook with the LLDB. Yeah. Yes. To start with this, we need to calculate the ASLR offset. Since ASLR is applied the address in memory, which can be random every time when we start. So every time we start the Diva version 2 application or any other application, we will need to repeat this type of function, repeat this kind of uh, utilities or perform this kind of operations. So in LLDB, we'll dump the image sections of the application. Yeah. So in LLDB console, yeah, we found there are first two address where we can like uh, we will find out the ASL offset through this. So now we can calculate the offsets by subtracting the values in the box. At the bottom of the value in box where you can see this value and this value. So I'll note that value, both of the value, and subtract that and find out the ASLR offset. For your understanding, I subtract the values using the simple notepad, and we type C here because of in the LLDB console we enter C. You can see here. So after hitting this, this will resume the flow of application, and the application whatever we hooked and using through LLDB, that should be you can say fully load into the phone or memory. So we need to calculate the ASAGA offset now. So with the binary, we need help of binary. So what we'll do, we go the binary into the Hooper, and after that checking with some strings. Once you're using the application, you get the functionality like login. So you search that login string, and help of that you get related to some like you can check the reference of that string, and you'll get the class or methods or assembly code related to that. So I load the binary and Hooper, and I know this the functionality related to login, so I search login. So login validated. That login string is available or exist in the my demo application or binary. I check the reference and checking one by one reference, and you'll get some like address. This is the address of functionality which we need to calculate the ASR offset. So let's see here. We set a breakpoint and jump on the where we are interested in that function. So I'll show you here. That is a function, or that is the address we are interested in. So yes, you can see there are some registers values are stored into that, and we are interested in that function, which is the TBZ, and that register value is WX and X0, and which a value that is storing or that is a having is a 0X0. So where we need to change that register value. So here we set our breakpoint, which is this address. After setting up the breakpoint, you need to go back to your application and again perform that functionality which you are trying to bypass or trying to skip. Yeah. After we count the login method one, you'll get some similar like that. So you'll get idea exactly what happened or what exactly call behind once you click the login method one. So this functionality first one call and value is having 0X0. We exactly focus on this, right? So this is our address. So looking at the registers, we can see 0x is indeed to 0x0 because we have to wrong credential already we put into that. And let's once we change into 0x1, that will put or that will appear something different in front of us through application. So we are checking the register values, and the x1 register we are interested in, that is the value having 0, right? So we'll change the register value, which is the x1, and after that we'll check that register value is modified or not. Yeah, I write the register value again. Register write 0x and 0x1. Which value we need to this value we need to write in the this register. So we need to check again the register value changed or not. So we'll read the register again. So here you can see our register value changed as compared to 0 to 1, right? So you can check if you wish by doing this, and we can see 0x has changed to 0, 1. So once I then we'll resume the execution of the application using the C, which we already paused due to the some reason for the to the LLDB. After putting C into the console, you'll get the message like congratulations, you have successfully bypassed the authentication check. So the same thing we did through LLDB and FIDA, but the methods or methodology or that you can say that is a totally different. So when there is bugs, they are chained with different kind of functionality. There is a we just check here once one address, and through this we did. But when you are checking with broad applications, you'll get a different address, and you're configuring that. So on that time, you can do or perform these two LLDB. That is a too easier or make better way for you. Yes. For next guide, we'll check for bug bounty nodes. So many developers put hard-coded encryption keys or client credential on iOS applications. So once you reverse the binary and got into the Hooper IDA or Hydra, you can check there is some. You can check the string tab and search the some kind of keywords as secret, private token, IDs, similar like that. So almost every application use at least one third-party functional library or library. Dig into this third-party libraries and check their versions. Many of them are open source, and you can search their public repository for issues and check whether the current version of the library isn't affected or not. So all the libraries are inside of the framework folder in the apps bundle. So many apps also use third-party backend systems. For the apps need some credential or configuration files. Sometimes developers expose the credential or private keys in these files. In the app bundle, search the PGIS file, JSON file, and configuration files, and you get some sometimes juicy information over there. If the app is not loading or immediately crashing when or launching, try to search the classes or methods is jailbroken, rooted, because chances are they have a jailbreak detection, and you may challenge that to bypass that. So that will be more helpful to you for reversing things. Also, after using the app for a while, check the user default files, which is in a PGIS configuration file. That some developers use store sensitive information to that. So yeah, that is the few bug bounty notes for you guys. And my final thoughts are thank you so much everyone. As you can see, this is the one of the best topic that I literally love, and I feel very passionate about it. This is why I spend most of the time doing research and trying to learn new things about the new tools and most of the new vulnerabilities in iOS. So I really hope you enjoyed and learn even just a little bit about iOS reversing and manipulation. Even if you all learn one thing from this session, I'll still be very happy for you guys, and thank you so much from my side. Yeah.
So, the session by Kapil has ended and it is open for your doubts. Kapil, there are a few questions in the chat box already. If you could just go through them one by one and answer them all.
Sure.
So our first question is, how can we set up our iOS hacking lab? Some jailbreakers are not stable. Which version do you recommend?
I recommend you version which is a 14.3 or 4. That is a good version because of all files or tools are supported to that. And for issue of a jailbreak, so you can use some tools or some utility that is a similar there is a functionality or there is a there is a tweak which help you to not jailbreak your device. So I will drop that tweak name after the session.
Okay, and Satyam has a question saying, also to add to the above question, please mention which jailbreak tool do you use?
Most of the time, I use a tool specifically not like single tool, but I most of the time I use a check run and uncover. Yeah.
Okay, can you share dump.py?
Yeah, I'll share with you. Sure, I'll share that.
Okay, PDF will be okay, your presentation. Guys, those who have a question regarding the session recording or the presentation, we will send it to you post the session is over. Just stay tuned on our digital channel. We will be announcing all about it pretty soon. Okay. Can I, okay. Kindly share the chat. So the link of our digital channels have also been shared in the chat box. Rohit has a question, which simulator are you using? Can iOS pen test can be done using any emulator and Windows PC?
Yes, I'm not using emulator, but a few people are using. But as per me, that is not compatible for nowadays pen testing, and that is still under you can say development. Those processes are still going there, so I don't think so. Emulator is comfortable, but you guys, if you want to use, then you can use it for sure.
And there's one more question saying, please explain once how to do dynamic testing on non-jailbreak broken device.
Okay, so for that you need to check that FRIDA, objection. So there is a library which is a objection library. So you can Google it on that. So you'll get a lot of write-ups on this.
How can someone mitigate from runtime hooking and manipulation for both iOS and Android?
Yeah, that's a good question. So for mitigation for runtime hooking and manipulation, you can execute the code first thing. You need to implement some features in the application, which is the user can't tamper your value in runtime. So that is what you can do.
C script or LLDB, which you recommend?
I use both, but most of the time I use LLDB, which I love.
Is there any free emulator for iOS?
No, I think there is no any free emulator for iOS.
Okay, Rajiv, if you could just explain, could you just write down this question again, how this objection tool is working in background?
Okay, for working background, that is actually hook your application in a runtime and trying to read the values whatever your bundle has or your application has. So yeah.
Is there any way to use O-Tool without a Mac?
Yes, you can use in Windows also.
Okay.
Using the there is one framework, API framework. So you can install API framework, and into that you can use a pip. Through pip you can install the O-Tool. Yeah.
Can we run two FRIDA or injection scripts at a single time?
I'm not sure about this, but I think no. But I'm not. Be honest, I'm not sure about this.
For static analysis, do we need Mac or is it possible with Windows or Ubuntu?
You can go with if you don't have Mac, then you can go with Ubuntu or Windows. That is also fine. So that is no requirement for Mac specifically.
Okay. How to bypass SSL pinning and jailbreak detection in Flutter-based application?
Okay, for Flutter-based application, this is a too broad topic. So yeah, I can't explain here you now. But if you wanna learn this Flutter-based application by part jailbreak and the stuff, you can ping me on Twitter or any handle.
Please share any other references for iOS testing.
Yeah, sure. I already shared on my Twitter profile, so you can check there.
Will you recommend Corellium and Windows PC for iOS pen test? Best resources to learn iOS or Android pen test?
Uh, I don't comment, like don't use that because I haven't used still Corrigan. But if you want to use and try it out, then you can go with this. For base resources which relate to Android and iOS, so I already put it on Twitter. You can go there and check it out.
Which tool are used in bug bounty?
For iOS or Android, that specifically there's a lot of tools which I use. So for reversing and that, I use Hooper and LDB, Cycrypt, and many more tools are there.
Does objection work on non-jailbroken devices?
Yes, that's what.
If we implement custom code to mitigate objection hooking, we can use objection to hook and modify additional function calls. Then how will it mitigate from hooking?
Let me read the question again.
Okay, it's
You can
the second
objection.
last message by Litesh Medi.
Okay, I'm a bit confused about that because I don't know what he wants to exactly ask.
Okay,
Objection
Litesh, if you
to
can just uh, re tell your this thing question. A much better picture about your question would be great to answer it. To mitigate objection hooking, you explain we need custom calls. Any jailbreak available for iOS 15?
yes, there's a few jailbreaks available for 15, but yeah, you can go with this.
How to do pen test for Apple Watches, Apple Watch or Apple devices apps pen test?
Okay, for that, you need to check the application functionality. And if you want to hunt out hardware, you can disassemble the hardware and go with this. There is a lot of attacks you can perform in hardware also. For like connectivity, Bluetooth or Wi-Fi attacks, you can intercept the traffic of Bluetooth and go with this also.
Okay. Kapil, I request you to read messages by Litesh on the chat
Yes, I'm
box.
ready. Latish, I'm not sure about this custom validation for runtime analysis. I need to check for custom validation what exactly we will implement for that.
There's another question. Root tools for Android. Any jailbreak available for iOS 15? So which one?
Yeah, Magisk you can use for root your phone. So that is a good way to root.
And Lathesh has another chat in the chat box. Any proper resource you have for mitigating runtime hooking and analysis for an app?
Yes, I have few resources. I'll drop on my Twitter handle if you want.
Uh, any suggestions for Android pen testing?
Okay, for suggestion, you can start with Scratch and uh, go deep dive into the every aspect of the Android and yeah, hunt there. That's what I'd say.
Can you read out the message by Rohit Gupta in the chat box, Kapil?
Yeah. Yes. EMAPT, yes, right. You can go for EMAPT if you wanna specifically make career in Android and iOS, or specifically mobile. So you can go with EMAPT. That is good for you.
Is there a comprehensive course we could enroll for?
I don't mention here any course, but you can use Google. Everything is there. So you can use that and learn through this.
Please share the method to jailbreak for iOS 15 device.
Okay, yeah. For jailbreaking iOS 15, I haven't tried it, but I have seen some blogs and some videos over there. They guys jailbreak that iOS 15. I'll share with you the references over the uh, Twitter or any other handle.
Which iPhone and iOS you use for pen test?
I use iPhone X and iOS version is a 14.4.
Unable to root Android mobile like Vivo using Magisk. Is there any other method?
Okay, any other methods for routing the device, right? Except the Magisk. Okay, for that I need to check exactly uh, Majestic working on Vivo or that other mobiles.
How you have jailbreak your 14.4 as I have tried with Chakra 1 and it's failing.
Okay, have you checked Checkrun? Have you tried with Checkrun? Then maybe you need to follow some steps. What exactly issue you are facing, I don't know, but you can ping me over the Twitter. I'll help you for the jailbreak device.
Any methods for filter app pinning bypass?
Yeah, I'll share the blogs and videos for that one.
So guys, we have another minute for our Q&A. If anybody has any question, please mention it in the chat box. Which pen test tool you use on iOS?
There is no specific any tool I use most of the time. I like put my hands in reversing. So there is a no specific any one tool. There is a lot of tools, which is you can say LLDB, Cycrit, or
Method to reverse iOS version from 16 to 14 in iPhone 12.
Rohit. I haven't tried this till to date, but yeah, I'll check how to do that. This is also interesting thing. We can like downgrade the device version.
Mitigation of root or jailbreak bypass.
Yes, there are some libraries which is related to specifically iOS, related to C or Swift. Depends upon that, you can go with the libraries and use that libraries.
I guess that's about it for the question and answer session. So thank you for an amazing session, Kapil, and thank you for being such wonderful participants. Along with this, we would like to share with you that Payatu is looking for cloud security consultants and IoT firmware security researchers. Do apply if you are looking for a job in these roles, and feel free to recommend someone for these roles who is looking for a job in such roles. Thank you all and have a happy weekend.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you,
Yeah.
Kapil.